a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on JTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, the Wellness Center, Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Ticely Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment. Welcome to this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Today with me is one of the many persons that were born here in the Virgin Islands, even not necessarily born here, but they are from here, but they reside overseas. They work overseas, and they are very skilled and talented. Very good professionals, and forever we've been asking the questions as to, we need so many human resources here in the Virgin Islands, and we have those people, but they're not here. We're trying to attract them back. Well, to give us a candid overview as to why this may be a challenge and where can we go in order to get that fixed right and bring them home, I have the distinct pleasure of having with me on set Honorable Jenifer C. O'Neill. So let's not get the Jenifer O'Neills mixed up. It's such a pleasure to have met you. We first met at a women's event of Cindy's recently, and here we are now. Yes. Learned so much about you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for having me on. Kathy, it was a pleasure for me to be asked, I should say, last night at the event to have this interview with you. So I'm really, really happy about it. And even, being asked to be the guest speaker at the event for International Women's Day was just an awesome opportunity. And I really jumped at it, and because I felt like I had something to share give to other women and try to encourage them. It's all about empowering women and embracing equity. So it was definitely an honor to be able to be here and do that.
For those who do not know you, looking at you, we can kind of match you to some of the but give us a little background to the O'Neills that you are related to.
So my dad was Reginald O'Neill. Of course, he passed many years ago. But I have my uncle, Nathaniel O'Neill, lives on Virgin Gorda still. I have a number of aunts and cousins, etc. My grandfather was Winston O'Neill, brother to the late Hubert Robinson O'Neill. So that is the side of the O'Neills that I am closer to. And that's the side that you would know.
And how close are you to your Jenifer O'Neill? Because there is a Jenifer O'Neill well known here.
There are actually two other Jenifer O'Neills, both married, of course. We have Jenifer, who's married to Hubert. We're very close. And then there's the other Jenifer O'Neill, who's married to my Uncle Tanny. They live on Virgin Gorda, and we are also very close. So I stay very close to my namesakes. The only difference for the most part, I am the Miss Jenifer O'Neill, and they're the Mrs. And then there's, in my name, I have one N, and they both have two N's in their Jenifer. So that's the only difference.
Thanks for that. I might have spelled your name with two N's.
Yes.
Just Jenifer. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Before we go into what you do and that topic that I broke on why work away as opposed to home, last night while you were speaking and you said something that I took very keen note of. You said that I represent everywhere, and as you opened your mouth to say I represent the British Virgin Islands as well, you chuckled, you held back something. It was some bit of emotions there for you. Yes. Why?
Well, there's always going to be emotions. I was born on Virgin Gorda, born and raised. I went to primary school on Virgin Gorda. I went to the former BVI high school here on Tortola, and for me, home is home and it will always be home. So there will always be some level of emotion. For me, whenever I am speaking about the BVI, I will represent the BVI until I die. That's just, the way that I am. I was actually fortunate enough to attend the softball games over in St. John, and I was there representing the BVI. It was Honorable Smith. So, it's every chance that I get, I am representing the BVI, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that I am a true Virgin Islander. I represent the U.S. Virgin Islands as well. I'll say I represent stateside, but I don't. I represent the U.S. Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands, and I'm proud of that.
Awesome. So let's get down into who you are. You carry the title Honorable to your name, and that speaks to legislature.
Yes. It's different in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So once you are appointed and confirmed by the U.S. Virgin Islands legislature, you then have honorable as part of your name. So my title is the Honorable Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Jenifer O'Neill. That's you would normally see it written.
Okay.
So all cabinet members, all of the governor's cabinet members will have honorable once you're writing the name.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you are a cabinet member
Yes.
in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the
Correct.
Virgin Islands of the United States.
Yes.
I got that one from you last night, correct?
Yes, that's the official name, is the Virgin Islands of the United States, otherwise known as the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay, so tell us about your portfolio.
So, as the director of the Office of Management and Budget, I am responsible actually for managing all of government's finances. I am the senior advisor, financial advisor to Governor Albert Bryan Jr. I am third in line of succession. So if the governor is out and the lieutenant governor is out, there's the finance commissioner, the attorney general, and then there's me that will act as the governor in the event the governors or any of the others aren't there. So that's where I'm third in line of succession. But in addition to the Office of Management and Budget, those duties and managing not just the budget, but again, the overall finances of the government of the U.S. Virgin Islands, I sit on 5 active boards. I am the chairperson of the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority Board. I'm the chairperson of the Virgin Islands Lottery Commission. I am the treasurer of the Virgin Islands Hospitals and Health Facilities Corporation, otherwise known as the Territorial Hospital Board, which oversees or manages the Wong F. Louis Hospital on St. Croix and the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital on St. Thomas, along with the other health centers. So I do that. And then I have the Public Finance Authority Board, the King Sally Management Board, the WTJX, otherwise known as Channel 12. And I'm sure I'm forgetting one, but it is a lot of work. I've been there since 2019 when I was appointed by Governor Bryan, January 2019, when he first came into office, and helped him. We were instrumental in his successful re-election bid in November of 2022 based on all of the hard work that we've put in. So it's just been an amazing opportunity to be there and to be representing Governor Bryan at a number of meetings, traveling all over the place and doing these things for him. And for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands, yes, Virgin Islands, we're sister territories.
Exactly.
Tell us how it is for you as a woman, and we will say of prominence, in the cabinet of the Virgin Islands of the United States.
It's actually great. Most of the cabinet members are actually females. The top 3 are females, and many others. The governor is really all about women empowerment as well. He has 2 daughters. He speaks to us about being
woman.
Yes. Working together and doing things, as a team and not the individuality that a lot of people like to do. You heard some of the speakers talking about the gossiping and the things that happen. We know that it does. As women.
Yeah, but you keep it down to the bottom.
Exactly. You kind of have to put that aside because at the end of the day, you have a bigger task in front of you. Everything that we do impacts the people. And you cannot let your personal bias for another person or whatever else may be happening to interfere with what benefits the people.
The greater population.
You have to make sure that your work is done. And so being in the cabinet and working along with this great set of people, dynamic individuals, has been really a great opportunity for me. I have learned a lot. I continue to learn because none of us knows everything. So we learn as we go. Some of my best friends in there, like the police commissioner, right, Ray Martinez. We have Derek Gabriel from Department of Public Works, Adrian Williams Actolin from the Office of Disaster Recovery. Like, we have to work together in order for us to move these projects. We have billions of dollars federally awarded to us. If we want to actually get those hospitals built, get those roads done, get those schools rebuilt, we have to work together. And so Governor Bryan has put together a great team. Being in the cabinet allows us to, again, not focus on yourself, but to see how the work that you do impacts those who need it the most.
Awesome. So I went there because right now the atmosphere in the Virgin Islands, British, is one that is calling more for women's prominence in the cabinet, in key decision-making seats. Because suffice to say, we have quite a number of women in some other key positions like permanent secretaries and all of these. But there is this feeling you're getting now from the general public that they need women in cabinet.
Yeah.
We do not have a single woman, well, apart from the what's her name?
Cabinet secretary.
The cabinet secretary, I think, and the AG, I think, sits as well.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Apart from those, and I do not think that they have a vote.
No, they don't.
Decisions, they don't have a vote.
It's
so
the
we
ministers,
need
the governor.
women to be in those seats where they can vote on legislations and decisions as such.
I would agree with you and with everyone who thinks that should happen. I absolutely believe that should happen. The cabinet here is equivalent to the legislature in the USVI, and there are a number of women there. We just had a female president for the last 2 years. Her term just ended in January, and it's been great to see that. She was not the first woman president, of course, and so not having had that opportunity or to see that here in the British Virgin Islands is really something that we do need to change. So I agree with all the women who are running. We had a few of them that came up and spoke last night, and I really hope that they can be successful and get in there and become ministers so that they can help to form cabinet and be part of it, make those decisions that need to be made, because we all know, men don't know it all.
Okay.
I mean, let's just be clear, right?
Yeah.
So men don't know everything. They just don't. And sometimes they can't identify. You see that happen a lot in the United States, where they're talking about where they banned abortion in a number of places. Again, these are decisions made by men for women.
Yeah.
But how fair is that? As we talk about equity, that is not equity. You can't, as a man, tell me as a woman what I need or what I can do. So I do believe that we do need to have those females in cabinet here.
So it's really saying that we need to have a balance.
Absolutely.
Because women alone would not be able to make the decisions as well for men.
Correct.
So we need to have that balance.
Yeah, we need each other. And
Yeah.
that's been what is missing, I think, in a lot of things that we do. We feel like we can do things alone. We can't. We need each other in order to get things done.
So we come to that point. Let's talk first of how you left the Virgin Islands.
How did I leave? So when I was here, I came back in 2008, worked at the Ministry of Finance.
Oh, you did?
And I did about 5 years, just about. I had 2 contracts with the government at that point. And when the second one, I think it was, expired, they chose not to renew the contract. So I left. And, there was no other way to do it at that point. You don't have a contract and you don't have a job. You're not a full-time employee, so you leave and you seek opportunities elsewhere. So yes, that was.
And you elevated outside of here to the status that you have right now.
Yes.
But you heard the women last night. They are begging. We need women before let's say January. I think it was from sometime around November or September of last year. There was this discussion that started trying to look at women who are Virgin Islanders, but they reside and work in key positions outside of these Virgin Islands. And one of the names that came up, and you know her very well because you both are from Virgin Gorda, that's the Janice Pereira, came up. And, I never knew of you before and the position that you held, and, every day you live, you learn.
Yes.
And we've been hearing so many names, and last night we also heard your name, and you heard the passion from the women saying, why not come
Yes.
and give that service here? We need you now. You have been able to manage the finances of the U.S. Virgin Islands at such a great way. And what's needed here, according to what's being said there, finances need to be better managed.
I agree. I read the stories, and of course I have my family sends the information. So, I'm aware of a lot of things that are still happening. But I don't know at this point, where I go. Governor Bryan was just reelected, so we have another 4 years. Not sure of, where I go. Anything right now is a possibility, and that's kind of where I would leave that.
Okay. Let's say what keeps experts, specialists, people who are qualified for key positions in the distillery, what keep them away?
We spoke about it last night, right? And it will always be the same thing. It's politics. And it's not the good politics. It's the bad politics.
Dirty politics.
Right. That's the part that I think keeps a lot of people, away from either wanting to work with government or even running for positions within government. It's really bad. I see it even in the USVI, where you'll ask people to serve on boards, but because you have to be confirmed by the legislature in order to serve on a board, they don't even want to take that. So a lot of our boards are not filled because we can't get people who want to go in front of the legislature, again, because of the politics and the grandstanding and the way they carry on with people. It is not nice. It's very disrespectful. And you as a professional going in to be talked to, nobody wants that. Here in the BVI, we have a lot of the same type of things happening. And again, that makes it hard for anyone to want to get involved. You have talents, you can do a lot of things, but if those who are empowered or those who have the power, so to speak, don't want to listen, you're not going to get very far. You'll be talking to a wall. It's not going to respond to you. So nothing changes. There has to be communication, and people have to listen and take the advice that is given. You can't hire advisors and then you don't take the advice. That's just then you're just wasting money because you think you know it all. None of us knows it all. And I think that's one of the differences, as I mentioned last night with Governor Bryan. He listens. He listens. You give him advice And even if he thinks you are wrong, he's willing to sit and debate with you. And if you can prove your point, he's going with what you say because you are the expert in that and not him. And that's how we have worked. I see him do it with a number of other cabinet members in other departments. If the BVI can start doing some of those same things, we can go a lot further. But you gotta listen. That's one of the key things. You don't know everything. And the dirty politics, we just need to stop. We just have to stop.
But there's this big talk, clean politics don't win.
That is true. That is true. As we said earlier, right? Clean politics. People don't want that.
No.
They want the
smear game and
they want that.
They want adrenaline to
Exactly.
flow, but if it goes smooth, it's like, nah.
Yeah, but then you can't say that you want change and then you keep electing the same type of people.
Change for the better.
Right? So we have to also take a look at ourselves as voters. What is it that we truly want? And if we really want to see a change from what we've had, then we have to do things differently. That's what, we, again, have to be the change we want to see. And that's not just a slogan. Like, you need to do that. You can't sit and talk about people and talk down on people and feel that you're going to get assistance. Again, you can't do things alone. You need people to do whatever it is you want. And even if you're paying them, it's still not going to work if you're not listening. And that brings me to pay.
Yeah, I was just going to get there.
That brings me to pay. So I'm not sure what the pay scale is here in the BVI anymore. But across the board, salaries need to be increased. Cost of living is ridiculously high. You see the prices of apartments. How many of us can't buy land because we can't make enough money to even pay for an apartment, buy food, etc. Think on finding extra money to go purchase a piece of land to build a house, but where are we going to get that? And that's across the board. So, there are things that we need to do. We need to really look at, again, as we bring it back to equity, helping those who need it most. We have a tendency to give to the same people who already have.
Yeah, I call it greed.
That needs to stop. And we do that, right? And I'm not going to get into the BVI politics. There's a lot of things happening right now that,
yes.
along those lines.
Some things have to happen for us to really open the eyes and see and be real.
Yes. But we do need to change that. And when we get elected or selected for positions of quote unquote power, we have got to stop thinking about just ourselves and our immediate family and friends. We have got to think about the people and what is best for everybody else. It's the greater good. It's not your good. And that's where I think we are falling short.
I know that teachers and other public servants will be happy when I say the word increments. We heard about what the U.S. Virgin Islands was able to do for its people. Talk to me in that area.
Yeah, that's a sad situation here that they haven't been able to get increments, and I really don't understand why. It does not seem to me that there's too much of an issue with your having money. Let's put it that way. But it comes down to priorities, right? So for us, Governor Bryan's priorities were to give raises and has continued to give raises. We continue to negotiate with the unions. I think here in the BVI, there might only be one that I'm aware of, I think the teachers union. In the USVI, there's a lot of unions. So, I mean, most of government employees are in some form of a union. And so we're continuously negotiating. When we came in 2019, there were raises that had been given by the former administration. We lived up to that. We made those payments. And then since then, we've continued to negotiate. We just negotiated with teachers. They have a contract. I think it expires either next year again. And so they're going to start negotiating again. And at that point, Governor Bryan's intent is to get them to a minimum starting salary of $50,000 minimum to start. So he's looking at doing a number of things, and that's our priority. So when we look at how are we going to put money aside when we're budgeting every year, and we have these meetings and we're talking about all the priorities, that's where we put the money. It's not what an there's may want. I may want a lot of things for my department. Somebody else may want a lot of things for their department.
But what's general?
That it's, again, the greater good, right? We have to ensure that the teachers are paid, ensure that the firefighters and EMS workers get what
nurses.
they need. Exactly. So we are making sure that those people are covered. They're the ones that impact our lives every single day. So we work hard. They are our priority, and we put the money where our priorities are.
So what do you say to persons who would say it's unfair to make the comparison of the Virgin Islands British with that of the United States Virgin Islands? Because one, you have a greater population. Two, you have federal funds that comes in like water, they would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it is unfair, and I will admit to that. It is definitely not the same. There are a lot of differences, and there are some similarities as well. The U.S. Virgin Islands government, this budget on average is $1.2, $1.3 billion a year. 3 times higher than the British Virgin Islands budget. And that excludes all the extra dollars that come in if there's something that happened, like the pandemic, right? Happened. We had probably $700-800 million that came in for the pandemic, or different things related to the pandemic. We had the hurricanes, and we had billions of dollars obligated to the territory to rebuild. The British Virgin Islands didn't have that, and you have to go get loans and look at different things. So maybe the time has come to start looking at your revenue streams. What else can you do, and how can we stop wasting money? Because we know that there's waste in everywhere. Revenue is going to be the key. You've got to diversify. You can't just bank on one. The U.S. Virgin Islands, luckily for the U.S. Virgin Islands, we have, again, a lot of federal dollars that helps us. We also have tourism. We have some manufacturing. We're trying to get the refinery back online. But even without the refinery, we still have terminal storage at that facility. And so there is some monies coming in from that. So there are things that are being done. We've looked at expanding agriculture, not sure how far that will go. It's a good talking point. That's what I say. I don't know that we will ever get to a point where either territory can sustain itself.
Oh yes, you may not be, but you can capitalize on it because it's what fed us, both U.S. and the BVI
exactly.
in the early days.
Absolutely, you can do a lot with it and reduce your imports. That helps you to keep more money in both territories. So there are things that you can do, and I think that a larger conversation needs to be had, and not in a small vacuum. It needs to come out to the public and get the public's input into these things to see what their thoughts are on new revenue streams and how things can be improved. I think that the time is ripe for that, and it shouldn't just be at election time either. Right?
There we go.
It should not just be at election time. It shouldn't be it's 4 years now. Now all of a sudden we all know that there are problems. We knew there were problems for years
prior.
Let's have the conversations on an ongoing basis so that it doesn't seem like you're only interested now because it's election.
And you want my vote. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So we got to do things differently, look at our revenues again, figure out how we can improve, where we can cut. Sometimes it's not about keeping people on staff just to keep people on staff. Maybe encourage the private sector. You have to encourage the private sector to grow more, that can take the burden off of government. Not everybody needs to work for government. Let's get the private sector flourishing so that we can do some more things. You'll get more taxes coming in because more people are employed, and private sector pays higher wages anyway. So,
all right. Honorable O'Neill, really, it was an interesting conversation. We're happy to have made acquaintances. We look forward to that day that you'll say, hey, I want to help you guys. I have the expertise, I have the know-how, I have the experiences in the many fields. We hear how many boards you're on.
Yeah.
Sometimes we cringe here when we hear that this person is on that board, that board, that board, and we cringe. But, you know, it's people who are capable
Yes.
of doing these things, and we want to see us go forward. In this moment, as we close out, I want you to say a word to your sisters, brothers, your family, your relatives, your friends, the people who knew you, who know you, and who are now getting to become familiar with you.
Yes.
And more than anything else, to the voting population and those women who are going up for election this year.
yes. Well, thank you again for this and for the opportunity and I'll speak to people differently, right?
Yes.
So, to the voting public, especially women, this is your time. You have got to go out there and listen, take part in all of the forums, ask questions. Don't sit back and wait and hope that things will get better. It will only get better if you force things to change and to become better. So this is your opportunity as you go into elections. Ask those questions. Ask the hard questions, not the easy ones. Nothing changes when you ask easy questions. They're expecting that. It's easy. Ask those hard questions so that you can get those answers that you need and learn how to move forward. To those who are aspiring, the women especially, this is your time. I'm gonna call it the year of women. So this is your time. I expect to see at least 2 females in there represented in cabinet by the time the government is formed. So my hat's off to you. I don't know that I could do it, but I definitely support all of you as you have jumped in, especially those who were there last night at the event and announced that they are running. So congratulations to you all for jumping in and taking that risk and wanting to be that change. So I congratulate you on that. And then, of course, to my family and my friends, all of my Virgin Gorda people. I love y'all. I will be home for Easter, hopefully. We're going to make it work. I hope to see everybody. It's been a long time since I've been home. I really miss my brothers. I still have 3 that actually live on Virgin Gorda. My cousins, my uncles, etc. So I will be home and, take part in the festivities and get to hug and kiss everybody and hang out. All my friends on VG, it's time to go home. So
Yes.
thank you again,
Yes.
Kathy, for this opportunity.
Awesome.
And to Cindy, Roseanne, for asking me again to be the guest speaker at her event. And I cannot forget my dear cousin Sharon Flax Brutus, who was the impetus actually for Cindy and I to even be acquainted and to get that invitation rolling. So I really appreciate her. And last but not least, to Governor Bryan and my USVI people, Lieutenant Governor Roach, the opportunities that he has given me, Governor Bryan has given me, have been tremendous. And I am forever grateful to him and to all of the other people that I have worked with and continue to work with. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you. I'm looking for you around Easter. Huh?
Sure.
I'll drop you a message. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.